Hey, everybody on Facebook and YouTube. I was just watching Steve Harvey's story, and it really inspired me to make a video of my own story. He was like homeless for 3 years, and then he became a comedian, and he said he bought like 17 acres of land. Anyways, so here's my story, and hopefully it'll be inspiring, and hopefully it'll encourage some of you. Mainly the point I want to make at first, I had two very horrific things happen in my life. My dad sexually abused me from the time I was a baby till I was 6. It was minor. It wasn't like traumatic, but it was, obviously it still had some effect on me long term, psychologically. And then 6 years ago, this guy I was engaged to died as a result of being on too many medications. And then he went out drinking one night, and but it was the mixture of the medication and the drinking. And then he had taken an antibiotic that day. Anyways, but despite all of that, I have overcome, and I went on to go to college. I have a BA in English. I went to a Christian college. And I was just thinking of something that guy who died, his name was Roger, he said he worked in mental health for a lot of years, and that's how I met him. We both were in a mental health job with some kids that were, it's like a group home for bad kids. Like teenagers. But he had said that I was the only girl he'd ever seen that went through something like that, sexual abuse, especially when it's like your own dad. Like, that's pretty serious. Anyways, I was the only girl he'd seen like that it didn't like seriously mess up my life, and like I didn't get into drugs or alcoholism or prostitution or whatever. So praise God. So that is a testimony that even though that happened, that I didn't let that drag me to the dark side, which I'm sure that was Satan's intention, but God worked it all for the good. And it really motivated me a lot to like help kids, and to help kids have a good childhood, and to make sure kids are safe, because obviously I wasn't safe. So, all my jobs have been with kids. Like when I was 14, I was a summer camp counselor, and that was a lot of fun. And kids have always really liked me. And anyways, and my goal is to become a teacher, so pray for me about that. Originally my goal was to teach high school English, because my high school English teacher was awesome, Mr. Woods. He was so cool, and he would bring in these poems, and I would analyze them like a lot. Like I really got into analyzing the poems and looking up the words and figuring out the themes. So maybe I'll teach high school, but everybody's like telling me I should be scared to teach high school, but I'm sure that they would be fine. How I feel is nothing is as scary as what I had to go through as a kid. So now it's like, nothing is as bad as that. Anyways, also I wanted to share, I guess, yesterday I was watching a bunch of videos about all the serial killers, which obviously it's not that great to look into all that, but Ted Bundy, he had his final interview with Dr. Dobson, ironically, and he was saying that pornography led him to all the stuff that he did. So for any of you out there, if you know anyone that is into that, like looking at porn, like tell them it's serious and it can turn you into Ted Bundy. Like seriously, because he was saying like it's an addiction. I guess I was just looking at it because I want to understand evil. Like, I've never really understood my dad and why he did that. Like, I just think it's so weird. And anyways, so I think my dad had some demons or something. I don't think he was full on possessed, but he was oppressed. So I've always tried to understand this whole thing. Like, how can someone be normal and then I guess like a spirit comes on them sometimes? Anyways, it's hard to understand really how it all works, but anyway, so pornography is serious. So if you know anyone that looks at that, tell them to stop. I read in a book, I think it was Every Woman's Battle or something. Anyways, it was saying that even 60% of church members look at porn, like 60% of pastors. And I would just say, if you look at porn and you're a pastor, you are not a Christian. Okay? Seriously. If you are a Christian and you're looking at porn, you're not a Christian. I mean, you can mess up, like, every once in a while. Like, I wasn't perfect, in my relationships with guys or whatever. I would mess up. once, and then I would be like, okay, I'm breaking up with you because, you know, we shouldn't be messing up. Anyways, Christians still sin, but if you have like a habitual ongoing sin, then you really need to check your soul. And, you know, so anyways, I don't know if that video inspired anybody, but hopefully it did. And may God bless you all. Have a great day. God bless.